We're going to do the recording for DRFT131. Let's look at modules. So we talked about blocks last lecture, and so what I want to do today is to review the homework first, and then we're going to talk about block definitions. So let me open the homework 3. And let's answer these questions. The Save As control tool in AutoCAD allows us to save our files with a different, with a path, and we might be able to save them also in different formats. So let's see what we got in Save As. So we go to Application button, and then of course we need to have a drawing open. And I'm going to do Files or Application button and then Save As. Drawing. What the Save As can do is give us this dialog box where we can see the path that we are going to save to. In this class, I'd like you to go to Documents, then the class folder, and then the drawing. Okay. Now also, let's take a look at what happens here in File Types. So in the file types, we see that we can save as the most recent AutoCAD release file type, which is 2018. AutoCAD changes every 3 years. So in the next couple of months, we will see the next version of AutoCAD come out. And it will have a file format change this time. And so we can change, we can save to 2018, or we can go back to other releases formats. For example, a very popular format of AutoCAD was Release 14. And a lot of people still use Release 14 because at that time, Autodesk still allowed for perpetual licenses that people could buy, which no longer the case. And so if you have a Release 14 copy of AutoCAD somewhere, you can still use it, and people can still save to that file format. It doesn't have many of the new features, but still a good program. And also, when we do Save As, we can save as DXF files. And so DXF files are a file format transfer standard, meaning that we can transfer our CAD file from AutoCAD to other CAD programs. DataCAD, for example, is one of the programs that I used to use. And so you can save a DXF, and then you can open a new CAD program, not AutoCAD, and actually import the DXF file or open it natively. And so Save As not only gives us a path to save the drawing, but it also gives us the opportunity to decide what AutoCAD file format we want to use and what DXF file format we want to use. Okay, so those are the options. If somebody in your team has an older copy of AutoCAD, then here is where you can integrate the work. Remember that an older file, an an older AutoCAD release will not open the most recent file format. Export. So what happens when we export the file? It's a little different than saving as. So let's go to application button and then export. So export can export to different formats. DWF, remember that's short for design web format, and design web format transfer or exchange format as well. 3D DWF is a 3D file similar to a 3D PDF. Also, we can export to PDF. We can export directly to DGN, which is the format for MicroStation. And then we can export to other formats, right? And in the other formats, we can see all of these ones here. And so export allows us to export our file to other CAD formats, not just AutoCAD, which was not available in Save As. Remember, Save As was all completely dedicated to AutoCAD files. Next is image attach. With image attach, we can attach an image into AutoCAD. Now, today that presents several problems because the image, when we do insert attach, the image that we attach will behave as an XREF. And because of that, it's not part of the program. It's not part of the file that you are working with. And remember that that's one of the advantages and disadvantages of an XREF that is not part of the program, right? That's a disadvantage. And so what can we do? Well, work around on that is, and that's if you want the image to be embedded in the drawing, then what you need to do is a different thing. Let's do that. Let me attach an image, and I know I have an image here that we just used for drafting 132 today. Spring 132, and there's a logo image there. I'm gonna bring it up, and I'm gonna place it there. So we got that image. And so maybe I want this image to be embedded in my drawing. So let's go to the XREF dialog box and see what's happening. So there is the image. And if I right click on this, I don't have an option that I usually have with the other images, with the other XREFs, right? If I click on this XREF, I can see this option bind. But if I click on the image, I don't see that option. So through the XREF dialog box, I cannot bind that image. The only way to bind an image like that will be to open this image with a text editor. And we're going to try to do that this way. And so I am going to open that image here and open it with maybe open with, and we're going to do photos or paint. Paint is more common. And now that I have the image here, I'm going to select it. And to select that, I'm going to use this selection tool. And now I am going to do Control-C or copy. Done. That's all I needed to do. Now I go to AutoCAD and then I can do Control-V or paste. Now this second image now is actually embedded in um, in the drawing. I'm going to go back to XREF, make sure I detach. Yeah, the image is no longer there. See the one that I had before, and now this one is. And that's the way then to embed an image in AutoCAD today. So you need to open it in a image editor and copy it and then paste it. In that way, you're doing copy and paste, not XREF. Block. We saw what a block is, and we talk about that in extent in depth, right? We define what a block is, how do we insert the block, how do we create a block, and so on and so forth. So we'll talk about that briefly today, but in regards to this other tool called attribute definition, I'll talk about it later. And then insert is the way to insert the block, right? And so when we're ready to insert a block in AutoCAD, what we'll do is go to insert and then insert again. And remember, we have these options: recent blocks, favorite blocks, blocks from libraries, or blocks that are already in the drawing. You can just click and drop them here. But the insert tool is the one that allows us to insert the objects as blocks. Remember that the reason we're talking about this is because we want to reuse as much as possible of the CAD work that we have. We don't want to have to redraw stuff. Being productive in AutoCAD is mostly about being able to edit and reuse work that you have already done. It's not too much about, or it's not so much about being fast in drawing. That helps, but usually it's about being smart in reusing what we have or what we can have. And to do that, we use tools like XREF and blocks. Let's answer the questions, and then we're going to talk about attribute definition. Why would you want to save a drawing in DXF format? Well, remember that DXF format is a transfer format. It says here is an exchange format for content. And the idea is to enable exchange of information between AutoCAD and other programs. That's the idea. Other programs that are not AutoCAD. And so if somebody in your team is working with DataCAD, for example, then your drawing should be saved in the XF format. What is a drawing template? Well, remember that one of the options that we have when we do, I closed it, file, save as, is a drawing template. And so what is a drawing template? Well, let's look for a good answer to that. It says here, a drawing template is a file that has been saved with a DWT file extension, and it specifies the style, settings, and layouts in a drawing, including title blocks. Okay, and so that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we try to do in CAD 1 too, is to create templates that you can reuse later on. And that's a fundamental part of reusing work that we already have, is that you will save the work that you would do in AutoCAD uh, in a particular drawing as a template, right? And so, for example, maybe I have this file here, and then I can save this file as a template, right? And so I got to do this file, save as, and drawing template. And then I can open that template anytime I want to create more drawings that can reuse the information that I have, including title blocks, um, CTBs, dimension styles, annotation styles, and so on. What is the difference between export and save as? Well, let's get back to it and see what the differences. Um, export and save as. All right, we talk about that. Let's analyze that again. If I go to save as drawing, then I can look at the file formats, and they're all related to AutoCAD file formats. So by using save as, I can save to older AutoCAD file formats, DWG files, or older DXF file formats, but all related to AutoCAD. And what happens when I do export? Well, export will export to different programs files, right? I can save to DGN, for example, and it's going to be saving as DGN. It's not going to be saving as DWG or as DXF. It's a DGN file. Now, DGN is the file format for MicroStation. And so the answer to that question is, the difference is that with export, we can export to other CAD programs formats. And with save as, we can only save to AutoCAD base file formats. When should you use image attach? Well, image attach, remember, works now as an XREF. And you use it when you want to insert an image. Now, because it works similar to an XREF, it's not part of the drawing. So if you want the image to be part of the drawing, then you need to embed it using copy clip with from an image editor. We're going to talk about attributes, tags, and define attributes and prompt. The attributes are defined by a tool called ATT def, and we're going to do that right now. And so I like to open a title block. And so I'm going to open that so I know what it is. Let's see, documents and drafting 130. Do I have a title block here? Yes, but it's not that great. So let's go back to drafting 130 F20 and title block 18 by 24. Right, so I got a title block here that I want to use to create the object that we're going to create. So I'm going to save as drawing, and I'm going to save it on our class title block. All right, and I am going to now create a new drawing, and maybe I create that drawing for from a template. So let's do this. I'm going to open I'm going to open a new drawing here, drawing and cardboard floor plan. And here now, I'm going to use this as my template because it's got a lot of info already. So I'm going to do save as, and we're going to create a drawing now called sheet information. And on this sheet information, I'm going to delete all of this. And now I'm left with an open space. The name of this drawing is, that's very strange. Why am I not seeing the tabs? Did we turn them off? Why? Get back to drafting and annotations. Let's see if I create a new drawing. No, I can't do that. So let me go to options first because we are missing the tabs in the drawing. That's very weird. Why? Display, scroll bars, large buttons, file tabs. There we go. The tabs here. So this drawing is called sheet information. And so in this drawing, what I'm going to do is I am going to xref that title block and go to where I can find it. And it is my documents, Spring 131 and title block. Click OK. And I'm just going to place it there. And the title block is here. So I'm going to move this title block. Let me see if I can reset my limits. No, I don't need to, but maybe I do. Limits, let's do 36 by 24. Okay, and once again, limits 0, 0, and then 36, 24. All right, and now I'm going to move this to 0, 0 because I want to make sure that the corner is at 0, 0. Remember, this is an xref. So I'm going to move this xref from this point to 0, 0. Pound 0, 0. Enter. So that now is at 0, 0. Save it. This is an xref, and the drawing is called sheet information. Now, what I'm going to do then today is I'm going to show you how to create the sheet information that goes here. And typically what we see in there is information like this. Right, so typically at the bottom of the page, we see this information, right? And we also see this revision number. All of these changes according to the sheet, right? This could be different from sheet to sheet, the same on that there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this tool called attributes to create information that will be changing sheet by sheet. And so once again, I'll create information like this and then number and revision at the top. And so there's no better way than to start to do this. So I'm going to go to Insert, Define Attributes, and we're going to create some attributes for a block. Attributes are text-like placeholders. I like to call them placeholders of information. Although AutoCAD calls them other things, right? What are attributes? And so this is what they say. An attribute is a label or a tag that attaches data to a block. And then attribute information can be used in a spreadsheet or databases, right? It could, yeah. But we're going to do an attribute today that is not like that. We're going to use a different one. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a text line for drawing date. And we're going to put there in the tag, drawing date. The prompt is going to be enter drawing date. And then in the tag, we cannot have a space. So I'm going to modify that. And then the default is going to be February 3rd, 2021. Okay, that's the default date. I am going to make it do this with notes. And click OK. What is happening here? Oh, this needs to be set to 1-to-1 because the title block is 1-to-1. Right, let's do it again. Define attribute, drawing date, prompt, enter drawing date, and then the default is going to be February 3rd, 2021. Left notes and OK. And we place this first object there. Okay, so that's short for this, right? See what I got there at the bottom, the date. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to now enter sheet content. In this case, we got floor plan. So define attribute, insert, define attribute, and this is going to be sheet content. No space. Enter sheet content. And then the default is going to be floor plan. And it's also notes. Kind of aligned there, right? Okay, now I am going to do this one, and this is going to have a new text style. The text style for this is going to be sheet number, and the sheet number size should be 1/2 inch. Let me see if I have this text style here already. No, I don't. So I'm going to create a new sheet number, and it's going to be 1/2 inch. And now I'm going to create the attribute. Insert, define attribute. And this is going to be called sheet number. Enter sheet number. And then this is going to be, if it's an architectural sheet, it's going to be A and then maybe AX because we don't know what number. And that's it. Sheet number, text style, and click OK. And now I place that there. And we're getting close to that. Do that. See, date, content, sheet number. And now I'm going to enter the scale, and that'll be all for that one. So define attribute, drawing scale. In the tag, the prompt is enter drawing scale. And the default is going to be maybe 1/4 of an inch equals 1 foot, 0 inches. And this is going to be notes. Click OK and notes. I'm going to move this down a bit because I want it kind of here better, right? And the reason I inserted this as an XREF is so I know where to put this information, so that when I insert this information onto the title block, then it goes in the right place if I insert it at 0, 0. I'm going to create also another attribute here, and this one is going to have a number, and then it's going to have revision content, and then date. Revision number, revision content, and revision date. Right, so revision number, rev number, let's put revision so we know what it is. And the default is going to be 1. The tag may not contain spaces. Okay, so move it out. I'm going to put this one precisely on top of that older one there. Now, these ones are going to overlap a bit. So maybe what I'll do is I change the tag to be this. It makes more sense, although it makes sense for me, but maybe not for everybody. And then next attribute, and this is revision content. Rev content, enter revision content. And then default is going to be plan check corrections. Right, and we enter that. I'm trying to align it there. And now the last one is going to be define attribute, and this is going to be revision date. Enter revision date, and the format will be 2/03/21. And that's going to go right here. Let me do a line from this object so I can make sure that everything is aligning. All right, and now I'm going to take that away. And I have now created my attributes. And so save the drawing. Remember, this drawing is called sheet information. And anything here that changes can be created as an attribute. And so now I'm going to detach the XREF. And this is my drawing. This drawing is called sheet information. And now I'm going to put this on the 0 layer if I have one. Yeah. Save it. And I could close this now, right? Save as. I want to check the path. DRFT131, sheet information, spring 21. Save it, yes. And close. And I'm going to close this too. and close. And now I am in this drawing called Drawing D. So what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to delete these layouts because I want to start from scratch in the layout information. Okay, delete that one too. And so typically you will have this. And so remember, delete that, do paste it up, modify. We're going to select PDF. I'm going to select a architectural C, and then layout, and then my CTV, right? That's pasted up. And so the first thing I'm going to do now is to insert my title block. And so XR, and I'm going to go to, let me detach this. Oh, it's not even there. So see why is that there? Oh, base drawing is habit. So let's open the base drawing. And here I'm going to detach that because I don't want a title block here. The title block should be in the D drawing. Okay, so XR. And so now I'm going to select attach DWG. Oh, it's comparing XREF, so that's fine. Title block. Click OK. I'm going to insert the title block at 0, 0. Why is it so big? Let's do the paste it up again. Oh, it's architectural C, what I want. There. XR, select the title block, and bring it to 0, 0. Okay, so I have a title block there. Remember, sometimes we need to actually go to the paste it up again and extend and center. So my title block is now center. I'm going to get rid of this plan check and 0 in the title block because I got that already on my attribute. So I'm going to open the XREF, and in the XREF, I actually don't need that anymore. Save it, go back to the drawing, and reload the XREF. Right, so now in this title block, I am going to insert that drawing that has the attributes, but this time I'm going to do that as a block. Remember, any drawing can be inserted as a block. In order for us to have the attributes work the way we want them, I need to insert that drawing as a block. So insert block from library and browse. And so I'm going to select sheet information on the Spring 21, right? 131 Spring 21, sheet information, press enter. And now it's here. And now I am going to type 0, 0. Enter. And see, now we get this little program telling me to modify what and this is exactly why I created the attributes, right? Because I want to be able to modify these on my layouts. I want to be able to have the option of entering a new date and all of that. So I'm going to accept these defaults for now and click OK and out. Now you can see where the text is. It's in the right place. That's what I wanted. And that's why I created it that way. Now, if I double click here, then this dialog box comes up because this is a block now. And that block's attributes can be modified here. A1. And maybe all of this is correct. I'm just going to change the layer of this now to text. And that's what I need to do in my first layout. I'm going to rename the layout here to A1. Once I have the title block on drawing D, and I have the sheet information attributes, enter, I am going to copy this layout. Right click, move or copy, and move to the end and create a copy. Click OK. Now I get the copy here. This copy is going to be called A2. Done, right? And now get closer to that and let's change this to A2. Double click, change to A2. And also the sheet content. It's not going to be floor plan now. Maybe it's going to be called floor plan propose. Right? The date is going to be the same. I'm going to go back to A1 and also get really close. And this is going to be called now floor plan existing. And so if I go to A1, that's what I get, floor plan existing A1. And if I go to this one, I get A2, floor plan proposed. And if I continue copying the layouts, I can create A3, A4, you know, all the sheets I want, and then I can change all the information as I need to. What happens if I have a plan check correction number 2, and then all I do is I modify my sheet information for that particular time, and or I just modify here, sorry, the revision number, right? Sorry, 2, and so on. And that's what we do. And so that's an example of how attributes can work in a particular drawing. And that's all for today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm open for questions.
Hey Armando, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to change your scaling on your XREF to a different size of sheet paper, how would you do so?
What do you mean? Scale of what?
Of your XREF. So like your title block, for instance, like say you wanted it on a bigger piece of.
Oh, you need to actually make a title block that is larger.
Oh, okay. You can't just scale it to the size you want.
No. What you do is you open this XREF, right? And this one is called title block 18 by 24. Remember, title blocks are always printing 1-to-1. And so what I can do is save as title block 24 by 36. And then I expand this one, make it larger to 24 by 36. I cannot just scale it because then the text will become larger and I don't need the text to be larger. All I need is the line work. So I would do something like this. Go to 0, 0, and then enter 36 by 24. That's the size I need, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so then I'll do a stretch. I'll stretch this from here to up there. And then I do
Okay.
another stretch here. And now I can save these as files, save as, title block 24 by 36.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out how to do.
All right, and done. Now you got a 18 by 24 and also a 24 by 36.
And so when we plot these two drawings that we have, um, one's a half inch and one's 3/16.
I remember that the half inch is only for the workstation of this workstation layout.
Oh, okay.
It's not for the whole drawing.
Oh, you just want a picture of the layout. Okay.
The
Okay.
desk with the computer and the chair.
Right.
That's the
Okay.
workstation detail.
Okay. Yeah, because that I was trying to fit the whole thing on a half inch. That's why I was
No,
asking
you
to,
won't be able to.
yeah, enlarge this. But the only way to do it would be to put a page setup with a bigger piece of paper, right?
Yeah, but for half an inch and that size of
It's pretty
drawing
big.
is
Yeah.
pretty big. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. That's where I was a little confused. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Armando. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thank you.